The old man made a decision in his heart, and he was very comfortable drinking. XXXX. The next day, the hour was over. Yang Xiaoxie woke up automatically. He saw the old man fall asleep on the table. Xiaoxie got out of bed, took a coat and covered the old man, and walked out of the door alone. It was already very bright, early winter, very cold, and there was fog that covered the surroundings. Xiaoxie has practiced as before. He only practices the Great Compassion Finger and the Flying Knife. Others such as the Great Compassion Palm and the Lone Star Swordsmanship he rarely practiced, because he felt that practicing the palm and swordsmanship, there was no fingering and flying knife to be useful, so the finger power and the flying knife entered the room, and the palm and swordsmanship were only 50% of the fire, and he also invented his own 3 moves of the prodigal son. Although it was fun, it was often used to learn martial arts with the old man. The so-called 3 moves of the prodigal son are also 3 moves to mess around. The first main attack, the enemy must be saved, the enemy must die, and the enemy's flaws will make the enemy unable to counterattack, and change the defensive position, that is, to attack and attack. The second move is to defend. The enemy's offensive is gone, the enemy's offensive has not reached the middle gate, I will defend the middle gate first, so the sword has not reached the vital point, I will defend the key point first, the enemy will attack, and the enemy wants to attack, step by step. The third main kill, the enemy will kill the sword, and I will also kill the hand, then it depends on whose skills are strong, whose moves are fast, and who will control the opponent to death first. Although it is only 3 moves, it is continuous, which is the highest level of martial arts. There are moves like no moves, and the intention is to move and recruit the life, so that it is endless, never-ending, like the vast Kunkan, boundless. Yang Xiaoxie may not understand these truths, he only knows that those moves are very complicated, and it is very tiring to practice, but it is not as interesting as this 3 moves of the prodigal son, just fight randomly. As long as the word fast is done, if he wants to run fast, no one can catch up, if the moves are faster, it is the same as running. In the courtyard, Yang Xiaoxie practiced indiscriminately. As long as the old man was not there, he would not seriously practice the moves from beginning to end. After a while, he lost interest and stopped practicing, thinking, the old man was drunk yesterday, and I will go to the lake to catch a few carp and cook soup later, and let the old man drink it, which can help relieve hangover. As he spoke, he withdrew his coat, revealing a body of strong muscles, and he was only leaning on a piece of water, and with a dagger stuck in his right foot. He looked very majestic and mighty. Yang Xiaoxie walked to the lake, smiled at the raging Mota Lake, and looked up at the highest top of the mountain. He was counting the time, because the carp of Mota Lake will not come out to feed until sunrise, and they usually hide in the stone cave and can't catch it. He has more than 10 years of experience in Mota Lake. Going into the water is like walking on the road, and it is far more comfortable than the road. He can ventilate from the hole in the hole, and he can also be in the water, so he doesn't have to drown, plus his preference for water power, even how the Mota Lake is turbulent and treacherous. He dared to go down 10 years ago, let alone now. He compares himself to the first in the world in gambling and running skills, and the second in the world in water skills. It turned out that there was a 1,000-year-old carp in the Mota Lake. He never caught it at the beginning, although he can catch it, but he has been playing for more than 10 years in the water, and he has a little feeling. Even the big carp sees Yang Xiao in the water, and will swim over to play with him. So Yang Xiaoxiao, in order to respect the big carp brother, so he claims to be the second in the world of water skills, and leaves the first to the fish partner. The white light on the top of the mountain continues to increase, slowly shining on the Mota Lake. It's time. Yang Xiaoxie jumped in. Poof! He had dived into the water. Some lakes or rivers have turbulent water above and calm underwater, but the water potential above and below Mota Lake is the same, because the waterfall rushes down and many whirlpools are formed. No wonder everyone is afraid. Yang Xiaoxie was like an old horse, and he was familiar with it, and soon avoided those strong currents and came to a calmer place southwest of the bottom of the lake, and he clapped his hands twice. Soon a dark red carp was about the size of him, swimming from afar, and Yang Xiaoxie went up and touched it a few times on its head, and then chased it in the water. Not to mention the same kind, the big carp still ate the same thing when he saw the little carp. Yang Xiaoxiao and the big carp chased and foraged for food, so within 3/4 of an hour, when he was full, he easily caught 3 small carp nearby and strung them on his belt, and played with the big carp again. It was almost noon, and Yang Xiaoxie felt a little tired, so he patted the big carp, and then reflexively swam back in the direction of the hut. When he came out of the water, the old man was already standing by the lake with a smile and looking at him. "Old man, you're awake?" Yang Xiaoxie asked with a smile and climbed onto the shore. "Little evil, have you practiced Kung Fu?" And Kowloon is looking for your friend again. The old man was worried that he had not practiced Kung Fu, so he ran to play. "Practice? Practice very seriously. Look, your hands are red." He stretched out his right hand, and sure enough, the palm was a little red. "Okay, you stew the carp and eat it later, and it's bath time again, don't you feel itchy?" said the old man with a smile. "One thing, okay, I'll be right away." Yang Xiaoxie brought the carp to the kitchen, cleaned it, lit a fire, put the fish in the pot, added some water and seasonings, and then turned it back to the yard. I saw that the old man had set up the iron bucket containing the potion on the stove and made a fire. Yang Xiaoxie walked to the front of the iron bucket, transported the internal strength, his feet were tied to the horse, and his hands hugged his waist. At this time, the old man immediately stabbed Yang Xiaoxie with a golden needle to the whole body to acupuncture. The old man recognized the A-cup ointment. The action was fast, it was rare, and soon, the old man had inserted the golden needle. The old man said, "The little evil has become, let's start." Yang Xiaoxie nodded, jumped slightly with his feet, jumped into the medicine barrel. He immediately retracted his palms and legs, and hugged Yuan Shaoyi, like a Buddha statue, sitting at the bottom of the barrel. Even his hair was drowned in the potion. The old man began to make a fire, and the fire was raging. The vegetable water went from the initial temperature to the high temperature, to the boiling, and the potion in the bucket bubbled from time to time, but Yang Xiaoxie was immersed in the water. This kind of practice method is really scary. It boiled for an hour before the old man weakened the fire. After a while, Yang Xiaoxie jumped out of the water, only to see that the muscles of his whole body were tense and red as cherries, and each A-cup ointment had deep holes, just the size of a golden needle, and streams of white gas were slowly spitting out from those A-cup ointment holes, especially the Baihui A-cup ointment on the top of his head. Now you can see the holes, but if the temperature drops after a while, the holes will shrink, and if you don't notice them, you won't be able to see them. Soon, the white air was exhausted, the holes in the acupuncture points naturally shrank, and the old man pulled out the golden needles one by one. The leather house also changed from red to light red, and gradually changed to normal color again. Yang Xiaoxie took a breath and said, "How is the old man?" The old man said, "I used the golden needle technique to dredge the acupoints and meridians of your body, and used a potion made of 108 kinds of rare herbs to wash your whole body, and it has been more than 10 years since I counted the days, but fortunately you didn't let me down after all." The old man paused and said, "These methods are obtained from the Shaolin Dharma Yujin Sutra. Do you know that Shaolin martial arts is the foundation of the world's martial arts, especially the Yujin one, except for the